Hey everybody, welcome back. It's David. This is going to be episode 3. Today I'm going to go through, what was I going to do today? I'm going to do character slash hero setup. So your PCs, how do I do it in Foundry? So I use it in tandem with an add-on called D&D Beyond Importer. This person makes it called MRPrimate. And I actually pay the lowest tier on Patreon for what they call as the D&D Beyond Muncher. So it allows you to pull anything and everything that you own in D&D Beyond through this series of syncing. There's a really, really great video that shows you how it works. I'll link it in the description. I think it's by him. And it gets you every item, every monster, every spell. Everything is through this. And I will regularly update it. Well, not regularly. I'll update it before I have a big session to make sure that I have just all of the most updated stuff. He is constantly putting out revisions and he does a lot of work. So if you can pay for the Patreon, it's probably worth it. I think it's like $1 or something a month. So that's what I'm using to do that. So what I'm going to do is let's just go into add-on modules. We're just going to hit update because I always do before I do this. I think that that's a good practice to have, is just make sure your modules are up to date. Looks like this is loading for a while. Might have something big. This is probably JB2A. This is the one that has a lot of like animated spells and stuff like that, which is really cool. But yeah, so today what we're going to do is we're going to go into how do you create your characters, your heroes. You really only have to do this once, and then you can drag them into any type of combat scenario that you need to do. Yeah, D&D Importer had an update. The one thing that you want to remember is that during downtime in between sessions, your players are probably tweaking a little bit depending on the character class and stuff, and if they've had a long rest, they might be tweaking it. So you're going to want to make sure that you sync that with D&D Beyond before you start any new combat. So that's also what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you how to set up your tokens and stuff like that. So let's jump into the game world and we'll hit launch. And so I'm just going to be using just kind of a random character here to show you how to do this, but let's jump in. And the first step you're going to do is you're just going to create any kind of actor. I'm using quotation marks. Actor is what Foundry uses. So right here, you just hit create actor. Let's get that to go away. Create actor. Now you can name this whatever. It does not matter. So I'm going to type in a bunch of nonsense. It's going to create this character. Now, if you have D&D Beyond Importer, you're going to see this next to their name. When you click into it, you're going to see URL. So the thing you're going to want to do is go into whatever character. You don't need to own the character. Somebody else can have it. They don't necessarily need to be in the same campaign in D&D Beyond if you're the DM. But if you do want to be sharing content with them, if they want to create characters like, say, Spelljammer, if they want access to a Thri-Kreen, you would need to add them to the campaign, but that doesn't matter. So let's choose Redfield. They're a level 3 wood elf. I don't even think they're actually set up, but what you want is this URL right here. So we're just going to copy it. We're going to go right back here. We're going to hit paste and hit start import. And it's basically just going to pull everything in there, and it's going to update their character artwork and everything. And now it's saved. You can even see over here to the right, all that character artwork is there as Redfield. Now, something that I like to do is I like to make tokens of those characters. As you can see, here's one for Wulfric, Orin Tomtanissa. If you zoom in, he's got this kind of cool border. This is really easy to do. Let's see if I bookmarked this under my D&D stuff. I didn't, but if I go to Safari, I do have it. I think I said in some of the previous videos that all of the artwork, I'll put this also token stamp too. I'll put this in the description. All of the artwork and stuff that you use, all the maps, it's all saved locally in the folder in the ~/library directory in your Mac. It's, I think, one of the, I forget, it's called like invisible directory or something. But let's choose an image here. And we're going to choose, I guess I don't have one of Redfield right now, do I? So I will need to, let's just choose something random. Let's just choose High Elf. see what we can find. Yeah, why am I being picky here? Let's choose her. She's great. We're just going to save image. And Elven 1 desktop, that's fine. So we're going to go to token stamp, choose image, Elven 1. And it's just going to pull that whole image in there. So I can resize it to however I want it. So obviously if this is a token, I want it to be, you know, sizably just her face. So we're good right there. We're going to hit download. Done deal. Now let's go back to Foundry. And so Redfield is going to be a woman now. So this is the workflow to attach that token to every instance that you pull this onto a map. So this right here is your source, right? This is your source hero. If I go to another map, I will need to pull my heroes into them. Same with my enemies, yada, yada. So I want to change this one, not the one that's on the map. As soon as you put them on the map, they kind of sever the connection between that and this. So we're going to pull Redfield out here. I'm going to click on them, and I'm going to double click over here on the right, Redfield. And the thing that you want to see is prototype token. So we're going to click on prototype token and then appearance, and we're going to change this image path to be that new one. So I have my heroes here. We'll choose that file off the desktop. And it was, let's just make sure that that was it. That's not it. Probably went to downloads. There you go. Token 1.2. Open. We're going to select that one. Now the next step is assign, then update. Assign token, update token. So what I'm saying is that any instance of Redfield that is pulled out here is going to have that look. So I click on this, let's delete it, pull it out, and now it has her there. Notice this hasn't changed, and most of the time it does. So if it doesn't, we can just click into it once, click onto this artwork, and then we're just going to choose, I think it was token 1.2 as well. Select, there we go. That's weird that that didn't do that, but in that instance that it does not, you just click onto their name and then just click onto the artwork. So now anytime you pull this person out, it's always going to be that artwork, which is really cool. Another thing that we're going to do, same thing with assign token. We're going to pull this token out, select it, double click Redfield, prototype token, and I like to go to resources and I like to choose, oh, look, the AC was actually done. I must have already pulled Redfield in. So let's pretend that this was not selected. So I like to have the AC as the bar 2. So the bar 1 is going to be the hit points. AC is set up for the second bar. I do this for all of my monsters as well. So what you're seeing me do here, I do for any monster that I put into my combat directories here. So I don't do custom tokens, but I do change the attribute to show AC. So we'll go attributes AC value, assign token, update token. That way, as the DM, when you right click, you get their AC up top. I think it's pretty cool. Additionally, if you're in combat, it is going to show you their AC and their hit points. It doesn't show it to the player characters, but it does to you. But I personally just like having it always here. So once you have that all set up, again, anytime you pull your player characters in, it's going to have the AC, it's going to have that token look. Now, in the event that we've had a couple of weeks going between sessions and I need to make sure that they're synced, maybe the last session that we had, they had a long rest. And say the person who is controlling this player character made some changes. Maybe they're a cleric. So what you want to do is you want to double click on the character in the map, depending if you're continuing the combat, or you will click this one and update this one. So the difference would be, say you left mid combat for some crazy reason, or the combat is in 2 parts, you're going to want to sync the instance of the character on the map. But if you know that you're going to do combat maybe later in the session, then you will sync this one, because this is the source. So you click into it, click on D&D Beyond, and just hit start import. and it's going to reuse that link and pull in. You can just always do default. Custom is if you want to set up what the different primary and tertiary and secondary things are for your resources. That's just like character mapping for special abilities, usually race and class features. So I just always do default. So now red field is updated. So if there was a spell loadout that was changed, that is done, and that is in here. So when you have your heroes, you're going to want to make sure you assign them to your player characters. So I think in the first session I showed you going to user management, you need to add your player characters here. I normally don't put passwords. I don't think there's any reason to. Save and return. Now, when you create player characters or other characters that need to be controlled, like say a spiritual weapon or a find familiar, you need to assign them. And the way that you do that is you go to actors and you right click, red field, configure ownership. So let's say, David is playing as Redfield. I would choose them as the owner. The DM can always move that character no matter what. But you want to make sure you assign those player characters to the person that owns them. Hit save. So when they log in, they're able to move that character. Also, one thing to always note is as the DM, when you start your game is paused. Just hit spacebar. All right. That is a somewhat quick video on characters, getting their tokens set up, syncing with D&D Beyond Importer, and then assigning permissions, or rather ownership, to your player characters. Next, I think I'm going to do getting maps set up. I was going to do one on monsters, but the way that you do monsters is so similar to this. You just assign AC and then do the tokens the way that I showed you. Again, I like to do a hierarchy here for example, I've got all of the monsters that are used in session 1, the Festival of Merit. I keep them here, so if I need to pull them in and pull them out, I can. Maybe I'll do a video on them, depending if I can come up with enough content. But the next one will be maps. How to import them, how to resize them, using a grid, not a grid, yada, yada. Cool. I hope you enjoyed it.